Hi guys, welcome to a reading of Lunasoul by me, author Stacey Ann Simpson. So let's get right into it. Grand rising, sweetie, Mom said. I lifted my head off my pillow, put my slippers on, and rushed to the bathroom. It's time for school and your breakfast is ready, Mom said. Okay, Mom, I yelled from the bathroom. I hurried to eat breakfast and ran out to meet up with my best friend, Heru. We usually walk together to the bus stop for school. From the start, Heru had always been a really good friend ever since I moved here. I remember my first day at Adjunct Elementary. He was so kind and friendly. He would always share his snacks with me and make sure I felt welcome. Since then, we've discovered that we had a lot in common and we always had such a good time of fun and laughter together. We decided it was apparent that we'd be best friends. Shortly after we arrived at school, we headed to our drama class, where we partnered up for our class play called Osiris and Isis. We got the name of the play from an Egyptian book we read with the same title. When it was our turn to perform, we got ready and put on our costumes. As I looked in the mirror, I chuckled and said to myself, we look like those kinds of people you would only see in the movies. Mom had hemmed both our costumes and added a few extra finishes to give it them a special touch. We all thought we looked 1,000% authentic. Finally, we performed, and boy, did we show out. Everyone in the audience seemed to love the play. I was so glad they did. We had rehearsed so many times to make sure that it was perfect. Thankfully, our teacher, Mr. Davis, recorded the play, which allowed us to keep it for future reference, as a token of remembrance and to witness the fruits of our hard work. I was grateful that I was able to showcase pieces from an amazing time period in Earth's history. After having such a fun and exciting evening, the next day, during recess, I got into a really upsetting argument with this girl at school named Cleo. She basically was labeled the mean girl, for a good reason. As she walked past me in the hallway, she said, I don't like the way you dress. Not just today, but every day. Your style is so hilarious. I felt so offended by her remarks. So I asked, who do you think you are, judging me on what I wear or telling me what I shouldn't or shouldn't wear? You don't have the right. My style is unique and is rooted in my African culture. I am not exactly sure why it matters to you how I dress. It doesn't have anything to do with you, but thank you for your invalid concern. Cleo had always had a problem with what people wore or what they looked like. As long as you weren't wearing the latest fashions, like Nike, Adidas, Jordans, you get my drift. She would find a way to have an issue with you. Today, my outfit must have driven her crazy as I decided to go all out with my Egyptian-inspired ensemble, incorporating elements of West African prints. I wore a full Egyptian suit adored with hieroglyphic designs on my Isis wings. To complete the look, I had a magnificent crown piece that added an extra touch of regality, and I proudly wore my brand new shoes that perfectly complemented the outfit. Convincing my mom to let me wear my new shoes to school had been quite the task, but I couldn't resist showcasing my beautiful outfit with my new shoes on. Thankfully, she gave in and finally allowed me to wear them. Unfortunately for Cleo, I had my own style. It was kind of old-fashioned, mixed with today's chic wear and a touch of African style inspirations, all in one. As far as I was concerned, my ensemble was remarkable. There's nothing unique about what you're wearing. You look crazy, Cleo said with a mean laugh. Cleo always got on my nerves, and she made me so mad that I really wanted to say something that would offend her. It wasn't like this was her first time she had an issue with something I did or wore, but this time it had really gotten to me. Even though I was hurt and upset, I thought to myself that this could get worse, and I didn't want to take it there with her. In order to calm things down and end the back and forth, I told her, look, I put time and energy into my outfits. I take pride in myself, and I'm proud that my clothing represents my culture. I quickly removed myself from the situation, knowing that no matter how much I explained, Cleo's opinion of me or my style of clothing wouldn't change, because she had no respect for me, nor did she care to even get to know me. That day, I went home with thoughts of how the school day had gone. I was hurt. I was still hurt, but I brushed it off. When dinner time came, I told Mom about what happened with Cleo. Luna, baby girl, I'm so sorry you had to deal with that. I'm proud of you, of the way you handled the situation, knowing that it's best not to give energy into someone being so negative. My mom always knew the perfect words to help make me feel better. Bedtime, shouted Mom. Already? I asked. I had gotten so caught up reading my book about Marcus Garvey, I didn't even notice the time. It was such an intriguing book. So far, I learned that Marcus Garvey was a Jamaican national hero who founded the UNIA, the Universal Negro Improvement Association, in 1914. He created the UNIA with the intention of people of African descent becoming fully united and getting reparations back in Africa. He believed that Black people should own their African heritage, and he encouraged an inspiring movement of Black people in America to Africa. Mr. Garvey had a strong desire for all Black people to return to Africa, where they could practice their culture and truly be free. The book was so fascinating. I wanted to finish it before I had to return it to the library tomorrow. Mom came into the room and gave me a hug and a kiss goodnight, like she did every night. Good night, my queen, she said softly. Good night, Mom. I love you, Mom replied, saying, I love you too. Now go to bed. That night, I had trouble falling asleep. I tossed and turned. I tried to force my eyes closed tightly, hoping that it would help me sleep. But thoughts of today's incident with Cleo were still fresh on my mind. Overthinking everything made it almost impossible for me to fall asleep. I decided to go downstairs to get a glass of water. I figured it would help me to clear my mind. I poured out a half a cup of water in my glow-in-the-dark cup and took 3 big gulps of water before heading upstairs to my room. At the corner of my eye, I caught a glimpse of the moon. Through the living room window, I stopped for a moment to take in its beauty.
Wow.
When I got back to my room, I decided to look out my window to see if I could see the moon from there. I opened my window and stared up at the sky, glaring at its light. All of a sudden, I felt a strong urge to pour my heart out to the moon. I know it seemed crazy, but I had never had this feeling before. For some reason, I began to mention every detail about my day at school to the moon. I expressed how hurt I had been by being judged by those who didn't even know me. I mentioned that Cleo had said some things that really bothered me. Like, how dare she? It was easy to see she had no respect for me or my culture, and her thinking she could belittle me? When I finished releasing my thoughts, I continued to look up at the moon and chuckled to myself and thought, wow, I must be out of my mind, as if the moon could understand. I shook my head. I just talked to the moon like it was a person. In that very moment, I physically felt the moon expressing itself to me in a way that felt like it understood exactly how I was feeling. I felt a release that lifted off my chest. I took a deep breath and glanced back at the moon one last time before I climbed back into bed and instantly fell into a restful sleep. The next day at school, as Haru and I were talking in the hallway beside our lockers, just about to get ready to go to class, I noticed Cleo standing in the hallway as Haru and I were talking, catching up with each other about how our weekend went. Shortly after the bell rang and class was about to begin, as we started to walk to class, I noticed Cleo chatting with someone. She looked up towards us as we walked past, and our eyes met. Cleo shouted out, "Hey Luna, can I talk to you?" Completely disregarding the person who she was just asking a question. "What would you like now? Can't you see we're off to class?" Haru replied impolitely. "We definitely don't have time to talk right now, and we can't be late." I smiled gratefully for the support of my best friend, so I told him, it's all right, and decided to hear her out. "Hold up, Haru." Almost having difficulty, Cleo said, "Well, I wanted to say sorry for being disrespectful to you yesterday. I really shouldn't have said those things to you." I was stunned, almost surprised. "It's okay," I said immediately. "I understand and I appreciate your apology." Cleo breathed out a sigh of relief, quietly. "Wow," I said to myself. I didn't expect to get an apology from Cleo of all people, much less her coming to me as soon after our disagreement. Well, it worked out for me. Now I could carry on my day without worrying or with the low vibrational thoughts of our previous argument. We all immediately hurried off to our classes afterwards. During lunch break, the strangest thing happened. Cleo came and asked if she could sit with me and my friends. I became a little suspicious. First an apology out of the blue, and now she wanted to sit with us? This was too weird, I thought. Due to my uncertainty of her actions, I defensively replied, "Only if you're going to be civil." "Of course," she said softly. "I'm truly sorry about letting my mouth get the best of me yesterday." I examined her closely. I still did not fully trust that this was the same girl who we all known to be one of the meanest bullies at our school. She was a beautiful girl with pretty dark brown skin and beautiful Powerpuff Girl hair. She always wore the latest brands and she hung with the popular group. However, she had a not so good reputation due to her bad mouth and her rude attitude that needed work, a lot of work. While we all ate, I continued to think about her changed behavior, and despite her apology, I got a little angry again thinking about her treating me less than her. What gave her the right to treat people that way? Then I remembered to relax by taking a quick breathe in and out. That's when I thought, everyone has their own story to tell about why they are the way they are. Give Cleo a chance to tell her story. I decided everyone deserves a second chance. So for now, Cleo and I would be good. Emphasis on the for now. After our lunch with Cleo, the week went by very slowly and uneventfully. It seemed like Friday would never come, but finally, it was the weekend. Now I would be able to relax and not have to think about school. Plus, I was elated about the plan my mom and I had for the weekend. Instead of staying in and watching movies, we decided we were going to have a small gathering at the park with some friends and family. The night before, I asked Mom if I could invite Heru to come with us. I'll call his mother and see if they would like to join us, Mom replied. Mom said happily. The next morning, we prepared avocado and banana sandwiches, a fruit basket, some snacks, and a bunch of drinks for the beautiful, fun-filled day we planned to have. By noon, the sun was at its hottest. There were clear skies and beautiful butterflies all around. Mom drove about 15 minutes to get to our favorite park. There were lots of parks to go to near our house, but there was no park as big and as beautiful as Eastern Shore Park. The park had millions of flowers with wide open spaces to play whatever sport you wanted. There were a lot of families at the park enjoying the warm summer day. There were dogs running from one end to the next, children were racing around playing with their kites, and others were playing catch. Anything you could think of, someone was having fun doing it. We walked around and eventually found an amazing spot to enjoy our time out in nature. A few feet away, there was also a perfect corner where we could play volleyball. I wondered if this day could have gotten any better. Shortly after we got settled, I noticed Heru and his mom finally making their way over into the park. I waved to him as he continued walking in our direction. Hey Heru, I'm glad you came. I'm glad too. I haven't been out much lately during the weekends. There were a lot of kids at the park, which got me excited because I couldn't wait to join in on the fun. I'm so hungry, I can't wait to eat. Before we joined in with the other children playing, we decided to have a break to eat some of the sandwiches, fruits, and majority of the things Mom packed for us to eat. After we ate, I left the group and walked over to the lake near the edge. I sat down and took in the scenery and the beauty. The beauty of the calm waters for a few minutes. I noticed that a lot of animals and insects were out enjoying this lovely day as well. I laid down and looked up at the sky. I watched the birds as they flew by in the distance. I laughed as I noticed a little baby bird just getting into the groove of flying and flapping his little wings. This was such an enjoyable sight and a wonderful experience. Hey Luna, Heru called out as he walked over to me. Look what I can do. He threw a rock across the lake and watched it skip on top of the water. That's cool. Guess what? I met some friends we could play volleyball with. Heru was very good at making new friends. Very fast. Okay, great. My favorite sport of all. Let's play. He introduced me to his new friends, who seemed pretty cool. Right then, my cousins had crept up behind me, trying to scare me from behind. I was elated to see them, since they live in a whole other town now. I rarely get to see them since we also moved out here. It was pure bliss having them join us. We got right down to play volleyball. It was 4 against 4. On my team, I had Heru and my 2 cousins, Natasha and Star facing off with Heru's 2 new friends, and my other cousin, Tariq. The game was a close one, but all in all, we managed to get the last point, leading us to win against the boys. Told you this is my game. I can't lose, said Luna. Yeah, that's because we were easy on you, said Tariq. Who wants to play a match in soccer? Yelled Heru. I bet you can't beat me. I got skills. I need a minute before I play anything else, said Star. Who would have thought that it would be a total workout? But it was so much fun, Luna said. After we finished playing, my stomach began to growl. "Hey guys, want to grab some food? I'm getting hungry again," said Luna. Heyru's mom suggested that we get some corn on the cob or get a vegan hot dog from the food vendor in the park. We purchased our food and quickly finished eating. We spent another hour relaxing with the rest of the family and enjoying each other's company with laughter. The sunset had graced its beauty upon us. We watched it for a few minutes before we decided to call it a day and headed home. As Mom drove us home, I thought, wow, what an epic day. I was thrilled. I had such an amazing time with Heyru, my cousins, and our new friends. I was pretty tired from all the shenanigans that today brought, so I didn't even wait for my mom to say it's time for bed. As soon as we got in, I made my way upstairs, changed into my favorite Lola bunny pajamas, and quickly brushed my teeth. I made my way back to my room. To my surprise, I noticed the light from the moon shining onto my bed. I walked over to the window, opened it up, and gazed up at the moon. In that instant, I felt a strange calmness come over me, and a strong urge to speak to the moon. I blurted out aloud, almost yelling out so the moon could hear me. I spilled all the details of the beautiful day that I had earlier. In astonishment, the moon began to shine even brighter and brighter, to the point that I could no longer look in its direction. You could say that the moon had a serious glow.
Wow.
Right then, I felt a comforting presence surround me, and a voice softly began to whisper and say, "Do you know that you have a spiritual connection with me?" I was stunned, more like in shock. My eyes circulated the room, looking at every corner. My eyes widened as I looked up at the ceiling, then turned back towards my bed. I thought to myself, maybe I was hearing things. I figured that it was the only explanation. Maybe it was my mind playing tricks on me. After all, it had been a long day, and I was beyond tired. "I think I should go to bed now," I said out loud to myself. I laid on my bed thinking heavily. I pondered on what just happened, not sure what was going on. But one thing for sure was things were starting to get a bit weird lately, and not just at home. Did something or someone really just whisper to me? Or was that my imagination? Did the whisper come from the moon? Or is there someone or some sort of spirit lingering around? The moon definitely can't speak, so I can rule that one out. I've been able to sleep quite fine since we moved here 3 months now. I don't think a spirit would want anything to do with me, much less be trying to get my attention now, especially since we have been living here for quite some time now. With all the million questions I had on my mind, the exhaustion of the day finally took over. Whew, and I drifted off to sleep. Now, in REM sleep, in the dream world, voices, soft and subtle, began to flow around as I snoozed. I recognized the voice almost as if it had a familiarity, and then it came to me. It was the same melodious voice as the one I heard when I was awake. I felt the need to really understand why this was happening. Sure enough, I was not afraid, and although I could not see anything, just a voice appearing in the thin air. Then out of nowhere, the moon appeared right next to me. "Hey Luna," the moon said, "I've watched over you ever since you were born. Now I'm here to show you your truth. At this point, I'm still in my dream state. I replied, my truth? What is my truth? Well, let me break it down into simple terms for you to understand. I can hear your thoughts and sense your feelings. I am you. You are a part of me. I can feel your emotions whenever you're sad, angry, happy, or excited, etc. We are so closely connected that I also have a very strong effect on how you express your emotions. Like the other day, when you were upset because someone at your school was being disrespectful towards you, I felt your sadness. Knowing that, I had an influence on your decision to speak with me. I took that opportunity to speak with you since I knew it would help you feel more at ease to release those built-up emotions. That night, I tossed and turned through the remainder of my sleep. And suddenly, I was startled and woke up from my sleep. I jumped up and realized, indeed, I was dreaming. That was one weird dream, I said to myself, looking around my room, dazed and confused, shaking my head in disbelief. I looked towards the window, wondering if I would see anything. I walked over and looked up in the sky through my room window, and sure enough, there the moon was, shining big and bright. The sky was full of a million stars surrounding it. In the pitch black sky, the moon appeared to be getting bigger and bigger as I continued to stare at it. It seemed to be getting closer and closer. The moon got so close, I felt like I could literally reach out and touch it. Then a soft-toned motherly voice emerged from it. Hello, Luna, the moon said. I looked around, turning my head side to side. Are you speaking to me? I whispered. Yes, that's your name, right? The moon replied. I was in disbelief, I uttered under my breath. Yes, I guess you're right. Yes, I am Luna. I was astonished. It had me puzzled, wondering how this could be, how this all would be happening. I pinched myself to make sure I wasn't still dreaming. Ouch! I shouted. Nope, not a dream this time. The moon was actually speaking to me. The moon continued. I just wanted to let you know I'm here for you whenever you need me. I feel and hear your thoughts. I am a part of you, and you are a part of me. Your dream was no coincidence. It was your soul getting in tune with me. That is how and why you had the dream you had. I feel your vibration, your energy, and I know what kind of day you're having because we are connected. You and I are one. How I am perceived at night influences your day. My phases influence how your emotions play out. I listened, still in shock that the moon was actually talking to me. I pinched myself yet again. I was still not dreaming. The moon continued to speak. I know you think this isn't possible, but let me tell you, soon you will come to see that many impossible things can be made possible if you wish them to be. You have the ability to manifest what you want if you are willing to learn how. Suddenly, I started to experience a shortness of breath. This was just too much for me. I turned away from the window and tried to catch my breath. The room fell silent. You could hear a pin drop if it were to fall. I turned towards the clock and noticed that it was 4:44 a.m. I immediately recalled seeing those numbers and remembered what they meant. Seeing those number sequences meant that I was on the right path to spiritual ascension and protected by angels, or something like that, if I remember correctly. Feeling a bit overwhelmed, my body felt a little fatigued, so I shuffled my way back over to my bed to process all this and to ensure I was fully replenished to deal with what tomorrow may bring. After a couple hours of dreamless sleep, my mom woke me up in her usual manner. "Grand rising, sweetie. It's time to wake up and get ready for school. Please hurry for breakfast because I have an important meeting this morning. And don't forget to brush your teeth." I fell out of bed and struggled to unravel myself from the sheets. I stumbled into the bathroom, wiped the sleep out my eye. Looking into the mirror, I gave myself a grin, my eyes focused on my teeth. I grazed my tongue over them. Thoughts began to wander in, and then I began to recall the dream I had the night before as I brushed my teeth. Remembered the moon speaking to me, saying that we were connected to one another. The experience was so out of the ordinary, but pretty cool at the same time, if I do say so myself. I continued to recall my dream as I prepared myself for school. I got dressed in the shortest amount of time ever. I think Mom would say it was record-breaking time. I hurried downstairs for breakfast, but Mom had already left for work. It was just Gran and I. Gran, of course, is my grandma. She's my world, literally, the best grandma ever. I quickly ate my breakfast and headed out. I couldn't wait to tell Heru what was happening. "Bye, Gran." "Bye, love. Have a great day and be careful." "Of course, Gran. See you later." I rushed out to the bus stop and met up with Heru. "Hey, Luna." "Hey, Heru. I had the craziest experience last night." "What happened?" "Well, I was in my room looking out the window like I do every night. I was looking at the beautiful night sky, taking in the ambience of the stars and the gleaming moon." When does this story get to the good part? This doesn't sound crazy at all. Hold on. I'm getting to it. Okay, go on. "So, while I was there looking out my window, I felt this presence surround me, and then I heard a voice say, 'You have a spiritual connection with me.'" Heru looked at me with uncertainty. "Are you sure you actually heard a voice?" "Yep." I questioned myself too. After I heard the voice, I decided it would be best that I just get some rest and try to figure it out in the morning. After I fell asleep, the same voice appeared in my dream. I recognized the voice was the sound I heard from the moon. The moon spoke and said my name and told me that it had been watching over me since I was born and that it wanted to show me my truth. It explained how my daily experiences and how I am perceived by others coincide with the connections I have with it. I came to understand that depending on the moon's phases, waxing moon, waning moon, full moon, etc., it influences how certain things play out and the kind of day I can look forward to having.
Wow!
That sounds like something you only hear happening in the movies, or in this case, dreams. Exactly. And in this case, anything is possible in your dreams, right? "Yeah, that's very true," said Heru. "But here is the crazy thing. At one point during the night, I woke up out the dream, and somehow there the moon was, still talking to me. But in real life!" "Are you serious? How is that even possible? How do you even know that moon was speaking?" "Yes, I'm very sure. I'm very serious. I didn't think it was possible either, but then I heard the moon say my name again. I knew the voice could only be coming from the moon because I felt a sudden connection when I looked up at it, and the moon facing me. The funny thing is, even though I knew the moon was talking to me, I still tried to convince myself that the whole thing wasn't happening at all. I told myself I was hearing things even though the voice was as clear as day." Heru looked at me skeptically. with his mouth wide open. I would probably be in disbelief as well if someone told me the same thing, but it was me telling the story of what happened. It made me start to question myself again, if it was indeed all in my imagination or if I was lucid dreaming. Nevertheless, I continued to tell my story. So after I woke from my dream, I went over to my window and looked up at the moon. It appeared as if it was getting closer and closer to me. I realized it was literally as close as you and I are now. The moon continued to say that we, the moon and I, were connected. When I am sad, happy, angry, or whatever emotion I'm feeling, the moon can feel too. Wow, I'm at a loss for words. What did the moon sound like? Haru asked. It sounded just like a woman's voice, with a very soft, motherly tone. It didn't sound anything similar to my mom's voice, but for sure it was an inviting, caring voice of a motherly guardian. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think I know what you mean. Wow, Luna. That's so profound and amazing at the same time. Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to figure out how and why this happened to me. What are you going to do? Have you told your mom yet? No, not yet. Not sure what to say to bring it up to her, but I plan on telling her too. Just then, the school bus arrived and we hopped on. I sat happily on my way home on the bus, appreciating sharing my story with Haru. It was a relief not to have to bear all this alone. I came home straight after school, feeling exhilarating, smiling with a big grin on my face, with the feeling of butterflies fluttering in my stomach, all because I was going to tell my mom all the unbelievable things that had been happening in the past few days. Hopefully she could help me to better understand what this was all about, and hopefully she didn't think I made it up. I just had to let mom know whether she thought it was real or wasn't. I quickly finished up my schoolwork about the different types of energy and how it affects us. Just then, I heard mom come in from work. I looked over at the clock to check the time. It read 5:55 p.m. Mom called out to me, "Luna, I'm home." "Hey Mom, I'm just finishing up some homework and I'll be down in a minute," I yelled out. "All right, sweetie, hurry down." Mom warmed up last night's dinner. I heard the microwave oven reach its last number on the setting and alerted us of its completion. The food was ready to be eaten. That's when I hurried downstairs to get my share of the food. My stomach had been rumbling for a little while, but I wanted to complete my homework, so I held off on eating. Now I was really starting to feel the hunger pangs. Seemed as if my stomach was about to fight my insides. Sniffing the air with deliciousness, the sweet aroma filled my lungs. Oh yeah, my favorite dish. Callaloo, bami, breadfruit, dumpling, and boiled banana. Mom, Gran, and I sat at the dining room table eating while Mom watched the TV from the dining room table to catch up on her show, The Mastery of Love. The reality show was focused on how to capture the love from inside us, while appreciating the way others choose and receive love and allow others to be themselves. The contestants play and do different challenges, all for $222,000. Dinner was finished. I walked into the living room. I could hear the ending credits state, "Loving someone for themselves is one of the greatest gifts you can give them. Loving yourself unconditionally is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself." "Hey Mom, how's your day?" I asked. It was lovely, just as every day is. Different but special all the same. When I think about it, we need to be thankful for each given day. Be grateful for life. "How was your day, sweetie?" Mom asked. "It was cool, I guess. Nothing out of the ordinary. But thanks for asking, Mom." I paused a bit before continuing. Mom, I wanted to talk to you to share my dream I had last night. Was it a dream like Martin Luther King had? Mom asked, with a playful smile. Mom, no, not like Martin Luther King. I chuckled. I had a dream about the moon, but I also had an interaction with the moon, and it spoke to me. Mom's eyes narrowed. You had an interaction with the moon? Mom asked, looking stunned. Why didn't you mention this before? Maybe during breakfast? I would have, but you had to rush out. Yes, I had a really important meeting this morning that I could not be late for. Yeah, I know, Mom. No worries. You're here now. Okay, tell me more. I'm listening. I told her everything that had happened over the past few days. After I finished, she gazed at me intently and said, "Well, baby, I never thought it would have happened like that for you, but I'm glad it did. Your great-grandmother had a connection with the moon as well." I was shocked, in complete awe. Really, Mom? How come you didn't tell me about this? When did you hear that about great-grandma? Did anything like this ever happen to you, Mom? Why is this happening to me? Whoa, hold on, slow down, darling. I'll give you all the answers you're looking for. Okay, I'm just so anxious to hear everything you have to say. Come closer and sit down. I quickly sat beside Mom as she began to tell me the story that seemed to be a family gem. Your great-grandmother found out about her connection with the moon a bit different from how it happened to you. She was in her young adult years at the time when it happened to her. One day she was doing some outside work on her house and she fell from a ladder. Luckily she didn't break any bones, but she did suffer from a concussion. She was about 33 when it happened. She told us that while she was unconscious, the moon had spoken to her and had told her that she had connections to it. The moon also said that she could use it to manifest whatever she wanted. Whenever she was sad, she could come and share her day with the moon. Although it already could sense her emotions, the moon told her that it was also her guide to help her express herself and learn how to deal with certain situations. The moon also told her how it influenced her thoughts and emotions. That is what the moon said to me too. This is so amazing. Yes, it is. It also means you were chosen. It's a calling. It's something you should be pretty happy about. You can use this to your advantage. How? Well, based on what your great-grandmother told me, during a full moon, you can set your intentions by writing down something you would like to manifest or something you no longer wish to hold. All you have to do is write your intentions down during the full moon and it will be done. Wow, Mom, that's a lot to take in. Mom looked and smiled. Oh, darling, in due time, you will learn all there is to know about full moons and the positives that can come from it. That night I went to bed feeling overjoyed. My mom had assured me everything was all right, and I trusted her word. I walked over to my window and gazed up at the moon. Coincidentally, it was a full moon. I smiled and immediately remembered Mom saying that there are no coincidences. Suddenly, the moon started to get brighter and began to come closer and closer to me. Yep, I said quietly to myself, this was no dream. I started to feel the familiar calmness come over me. This time, I was not scared. I felt at ease. So Luna, the moon said, now you see, we are one. I've tried to come to you and tell you numerous times, in the best way I could, to let you know that you are a part of me. You are the chosen one. Your great-grandmother knew this was going to happen, and that is why she told your mother to give you the name Luna, which is also another name for the moon. Also, because of your great-grandmother's connection to me, she knew you too would have your own connection. I'm here for you as I was once for her. I completely understand why it all happened to me. So I gave thanks to the moon for choosing me, and I realized that my life was about to change tremendously. I went to bed excited. I couldn't wait to see what tomorrow would bring and what my next adventure would be. The end. Thank you for listening to the beautiful story of Lunasoul and how she learned how she was connected to the moon. I hope you can find something that you can be connected to on your journey to self-discovery and stay true to you. Thanks again for watching and listening. Have a great one.